Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about Gabriel Esparazs and Andrea Vazquez. I have information about this case that is very important. And if I, write to the FBI or something, I've written to various law enforcement agencies before in regards to things like this, they're not likely to respond, and who knows what will happen. They might give me a hard time more than they are already. To make a long story short, what is key in this is occult cut-ups. As I'm sure you know, people who like to mimic the Joker and Harley Quinn. Well, it's also true with the Riddler. Okay, the Riddler, the Joker, right? Jigsaw puzzle. You might think this means nothing, but if you do your research into chaos magic and shadow psychology and dark psychology, and how, for example, Sidney Gottlieb was known as the dirty trickster and the dark sorcerer, and he was this person involved in MK Ultra, who's a very key person in MK Ultra, that you know that this stuff is real. Okay, you know that police code is real. You know that gang members use numbers to coincide to letters, right? The 13 for the M, the 14 for the N. You know that there's all kinds of occult themed groups in Chicago, right? Satan's disciples, Latin kings, maniac Latin disciples, vice lords, okay, black peace stones, okay? And that these guys didn't come up with this on their own, right? Roman numerals, okay. Now, with that being said and firmly established, I don't even have to talk about Masonic wordplay, and that's a whole bag of worms in its own, that we know for sure that criminals and people who write, stories use wordplay quite often. Okay, for example, Cruella de Vil, her name is a play on words for cruel devil. Okay, Cruella de Vil from the 101 Dalmatians. You can see that I'm speaking in a way that is clear and fair and just and is sane, and that it's credible, that I'm making sense. Okay, I deal in sense. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm the top martial artist ever possible because of tech breeding, cheating, and ill-gotten gains. And I'm not bragging here. I'm trying to explain what's going on here. And I'm being persecuted for my spiritual views. I'm being persecuted for what that means in regards to the Bible. And for the purpose of trying to maximize the possibility that this video gets out, I'm not going to say exactly why that is, but it's extremely important here. Okay, if the person reaches out to me, I'll tell them. Okay, so we have the word Whitter, right? Or however you say it, right? Whitter was part of this case, right? It's a city or something like that. Again, I think I made a video about this before, and I'm eager to get this video out. So I haven't done all the wordplay, but I've done enough to see the pattern that it clearly has to do with me. In a nutshell, what has happened here is people who are into shadow psychology, chaos magic, psychological operation units, they work for the government, okay? And certainly there's elements of globalists involved here. And they're best described as white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacists, Eurocentrics, neo-colonialists. People are into sexual sadism and things like this. This is the truth, I assure you. You might think it's crazy that there's, there's over 1,000 documented hate groups in America, but it's still true. You might think it's crazy that there's people who are terrorists, who are human trafficking, but it's true. You might think it's crazy that there's thousands of gangs in America who do all kinds of deplorable activities, but it's true. You might think it's crazy there's a bunch of police corruption in America, but it's true. You might think it's crazy that there's millions of Freemasons in North America alone, but it's true. And these people deal in wordplay. And they work in various positions with other secret societies, fraternal groups, gentlemen's clubs, social clubs, political groups, you name it. So what I'm telling you here is the truth. This person's name, okay, Esparazs, or Esparazs, Esparazs A. Also EA, which is another word for inky. E is like the word El. It's in the word El. It's an ancient symbol for in Sumerian for a temple. And E A, B, C, D, E is the fifth letter. The 5 is the number for man. Now, bear with me. You're going to see it makes sense soon. Right now, it's not making that much sense. You're going to see. Bear with me. With the word E, we get evil, right? E-vi-L. We get fatty and silly and goofy and shady, okay, and sloppy. There's a bunch of people who are not martial artists, in truth, who are mockers. The word rocker rhymes with mocker, and rockers are notorious for being occultists. Heavy metal, rock and roll, death metal, punk rock, you name it. Okay, and they're also notorious for getting locked up, going to prison, joining prison gangs, all kinds of occult symbols and wordplay and code and so on and so forth. Okay? If you don't know them right, man, that you're crazy. So we look at this guy, right? Gabriel Esparazs. Gabriel is the name of an angel, but by itself is neither here nor there. But the Esparazs sticks out like a sore thumb. So does the name Andrea Vazquez. It's similar to the name Velasquez. Like Cain Velasquez, where you get the word El for the Canaanite deity, which is also a word for the Lord, and you get Vasquez. And Andrea, you get Andrea, who was raped by Mars, who is the deity of martial arts in Roman culture, to the point where this is where we get the word martial arts in the first place. The word martial is derived from the word Mars, and it means the arts of Mars, and it's superimposed on universal martial arts, which is, first and foremost, it's who's the top martial artist, right? Then there's individual martial art groups. There's karate, there's taekwondo, there's hapkido, there's judo, and jujitsu, and on and on and on and on, right? Kung fu, okay, and on and on and on and on. Now, martial arts starts in Africa. And for those of you who don't understand that because you're dumb, look up capoeira. Before it landed in Brazil, it was in Angola. And the Angolans didn't say, hey, I have an idea. Let's just start throwing kicks and punches and call it martial arts. This goes back thousands and thousands of years. Okay? Tens of thousands of years. This is what civilized mankind, not Western technology. It was African martial arts and the resulting brain order that emerged. The epigenetics, right? Generational breeding and brain formations that have emerged, which brought man out of a primitive state and into a martial state. Martial is a play on words for martial, meaning to order, to arrange. Okay? We also get Mara, scale C, as some kind of Latin roots, where we get horse, servant, horse, scale, because they're Eurocentric, instead of pointing to the original land where martial arts comes from, Africa, where God made man in his image. Now, if you're an occultist and you're serious about it, you have no doubt in your mind that the global narrative in regards to where the occult comes from, where religion comes from, where the martial arts come, where civilization is African. I mean, Egyptian history is part of Greek mythology. It's in there. Okay, whether we're talking about Andromeda, whether we're talking about the Trojan War, that Egyptian, Ethiopian kind of history, African history is part of Greek mythology. And the Romans kind of, were basically Greeks who migrated to Rome and set up their cults there, and they're kind of globalists, if you will. These cults ultimately started in Africa. They went through the Middle East. Baal is Jupiter's Middle Eastern equivalent. And Jupiter is Zeus's Roman equivalent. Okay. So right now you should understand that I'm right. If you have any questions, put in the comments. So Whitter is a play on words for white ear and white R. And whiter. Who's whiter? Okay. Because these are racist, social club, crest-wearing devils who worship the devil, because the Bible says that Satan is in the company of the wicked and God is in the company of the righteous. Okay. Because by saying that God's in the presence of the righteous, it's saying that Satan is in the presence of wicked. And Christ says to Peter, get behind me, Satan, and so on and so forth. So there's Satanists who are trying to snake me, right? Like the brazen serpent idea in Masonry. They're trying to snake me. The ancient serpent, the devil, to snake meaning to cheat. The snake is a phallic symbol, the snake in the garden. The ancient serpent, the devil, is thrown down in Revelation. And they're trying to provoke me, but they believe in what is called hidden in plain view. This is not a conspiracy theory. Occult means hidden. And where is it hidden? Is it hidden, under a vault 500 miles underground? No, it's hidden in code, in plain view, which includes when people are killed in very famous ways, which has to do with the machine.